Hi folks, welcome back to Spring Valley Country Club in Salem, Wisconsin. I'm on the back nine here playing with Brad Corando, my host for the day. This course was in my backyard the whole time I was growing up in Wisconsin, didn't know about it. Do now though, and I'm glad for it. It was designed in 1926 by Langford and Moreau and features many of the dramatic green complexes they were known for. I'm using my primary Hickory set for this round, which include 2 replica woods from Louisville Golf, 5 authentic irons, and my trusty Stewart RTJ putter. And my ball is a Wilson Staff Zip that I've customized with an antique mesh pattern. Here's a scorecard for the back nine, and it starts out with a kind of tricky par 4, 419 yards, narrow fairway with a dogleg right, and an elevated green that's surrounded by some pretty dramatic features.
Great shot.
Brad shows the way here with a real nice tee shot down the middle. And for the most part, I was pretty satisfied with how the Brassie was working for me on the front and just trying to keep it going here in the back. I tried to put a little too much on that one. Ended up coming over the top and pushing it right into the tree line.
Yeah, that might be tricky to find. We'll see. Yeah, I gave that one a little too much.
I had a bit of a window here to try to use the mashie to wrap this around the tree. I was just trying to keep it low under the branches and pretty much did what I was trying to do there. Got it into a clearing.
I'm out of the trees.
Wasn't in the fairway, which is where I was aiming. But here you see some of the dramatic features of this green complex. And that was a tight lie, kind of a burnt out area. I couldn't get the club under the ball there. So now I'm getting a real close look at this dramatic green feature here, using the mashie niblick. And didn't realize that I wasn't really that close to the green yet, so could have given that more than I did. But that left me with this short chip with the mashie. And a pretty good start with the putter. It takes us number 11. It's a par 3, 145 yards. Pretty straightforward hole here. Brad shows me the way with a pretty good tee shot that comes up just short of the green.
It should be all right. Yeah.
And I decided to use the jigger on this shot. I used it, I believe, on a couple shots on the front nine. Was feeling pretty confident with it. I was making decent contact, but pulling it like I did here pretty significantly.
This club's not making a good run at staying in the
so now that's
Let's take a closer look at the jigger. It's a Dysart Spalding made in their Dysart Fife, Scotland factory in the 1920s. 29 degrees of loft and 38 inches long, D1 swing weight. So the specs of it work for me. It's just inconsistent club for me right now. And put me in a tight spot here where I had to keep this low and just play it safe, roll it up into the area in front of the green there with the mashie, and that's what I did. Leaving me with another real short shot. And I believe I used my putter on that shot. Pretty happy with that result. Brad got his close here too. Short putts were kind of tough on the front. Both Brad and I missed some short ones. And we're getting used to the pace of the greens by this point, though, for sure. So feeling a little more confident with our strokes. And that one fell for me, too. So number 12 is a par 5, 474 yards. Starts out with a blind tee shot here, and Brad says basically just to aim over these mounds in front. And he shows me the direction here.
There we go.
Just getting that low bullet over the ridge. I'm trying to take a similar line with my tee shot. And pulling it.
Just keep going. I didn't hear it hit.
We'll see where.
Yeah, unfortunately, it didn't hit many branches, so got some distance on it and found a clearing here. So believe it or not, there's a window there that I see to get the mashie to punch this through, and sent it over those branches into that window, and worked out pretty well. This was a tough shot though, using the mashie again here, and I had that large tree right in my way. So, I mean, I could have tried to draw it around that tree, but figured I'd try to go straight. Ended up pushing it a little bit, but it wasn't too bad offline. So now I've got a kind of a mid-range chip shot here. And these fairways roll into the greens pretty nice on the holes where you don't have to navigate, an elevation change. So fortunately I was able to kind of use a runner, which is my favorite shot in Hickory golf, to get it up here. This is a pretty shot, but you notice there's a lot of trees on this course, and like a lot of old courses, a restoration would probably remove a good chunk of those to get it closer to the original design. You also remember from the front nine I mentioned that there are 65 bunkers on this course, but none of them are filled with sand. And you'll see a couple of those bunkers here on the back. I'll find them for you. Number 13 is a par 4, 358 yards. Another one, doglegs left a little bit and has a bit of a tight fairway at the front of the hole here to navigate. Brad basically is aiming to the right. There's a kind of a berm. It's actually one of these bunkers that's not filled with sand on the left side in front of the fairway. So that's kind of a good aiming point. You want to try to clear that with your tee shot. I ended up taking a line here that was a little too aggressive. I probably should have started that out a little further right, because it ended up drawing, but right into that depression, which is a bunker basically.
I
bunker.
was aiming that way.
So using the jigger again. And that's the tendency with the jigger, hitting it fat. Fortunately, it went straight, but I just lost a lot of distance on that one. So I've got my mashie out again here for another mid-range chip shot. I just got unlucky here. Got it in the middle of the green instead of the front, so it ended up rolling off the back. And this is a tricky downhill chip shot back onto the green. That one settled right on the front. So I'm playing ping pong on this green. That read was terrible. I don't know where I was heading with that one, but bad read. Fortunately, I ended up hitting a mid-range putt there. So takes us to 14, which is a drivable par 4, 260 yards. I'm not threatening to drive this one, but certainly with modern clubs, a lot of people are. Pretty good tee shot for Brad, just on the right side of the fairway. Course management is one of the biggest reasons why my scores are higher these days, and didn't need to use the Brassie off the tee here. Just got myself into a little bit of trouble on the left side. Ended up turning out okay, but I should have used an iron off the tee here and left myself with a comfortable mashie into the green. So now I'm navigating the tougher parts of this hole. You see a bit of the Langford and Moreau mounding in front of me here. So I've got to fly this over that. And wasn't a terrible shot there with the mashie. I think that might have been the mashie niblick actually. Just off the right side of the green here, using the mashie. Yeah, I just didn't give that chip enough.
Oh well.
So this is how strokes add up for me. Had I used an iron off the tee and kept it in the fairway, I would have avoided 3 of those shots probably, and given myself a good chance for par, if not better. I'm learning.
Show you my other pattern. I've got several.
And that was a tough one.
It's the classic. I want to putt well with.
So on to 15. Par 4, 406 yards. This was one of my favorite holes on the course. I played it unconventionally, as you'll see here in a second. Brad had a real nice tee shot here, right up the gut.
Compared to the start of the day.
Yeah, you're turning the driver around for sure.
He was hitting his Brassie much better on the back nine. Meanwhile, I got a case of the lefts again. Getting lucky every time on the left side where the trees really aren't hindering my distance, but definitely leaving me some tricky approach shots. So I'm using the Jack White spoon here. This would be rough in the summer, but it's still pretty light right now. Pretty thin rough. Got good contact on that, but pushed it right and found myself behind another mound. That was an unlucky shot. Mashie was right on line there, hit the branch. So another mid-range chip shot. This one got up on the front of the green and then trickled toward the back. I actually didn't want to try to go right at the pin here because the slope of this green is severe from where I'm standing, be right to left. So this is a pretty tricky downhill putt. There's actually a couple little turns in this one. But this was definitely my shot of the day.
Wow. Very.
Those kinds of putts give you a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I know. We know it.
That was a nice way to close that one out. 16's a par 4, 401 yards. Got a little bit of a bottleneck in the middle of the fairway where the water encroaches on the hole. That was a pretty good tee shot, but ended up finding some mounding on. Ended up on the wrong side of the mounds on the right side of the fairway, which I'm about to see in a moment.
I was real happy with that.
Brad put his tee shot further right of mine and had some trees to navigate, but I thought this was a nice recovery. Kept it low under those trees and got some distance out of it, even though it clipped a tree branch. And you see, my ball was just a little bit ahead of Brad's here and left me with an awkward second shot. Again, from another area that could possibly be a bunker at some point after a restoration.
It's a really high ball.
Yeah, I think you had a little bit of a slow.
I recovered from that okay.
Yeah.
Put myself in front of the green here and using the mashie again on a chip shot. I liked the feature of right in front of this hole. There's a little mound, and I was trying to bounce the ball into the mound and trickle it up. And had the right idea, just gave it a little bit too much oomph. So from the back of the green here. So-so effort. But nice little collection area there, obviously.
Yeah, it gets dirty.
I even like it with the dirt on it. I really do.
I don't mind it. I'm not cleaning it.
And that was another terrible read. I mean, I suppose once I play this course a few more times, I'll get used to the nuances, but some of these were just tough reads for me to pick up.
Yeah.
That was a good putt from Brad, just a little short. So 17, last par 3 on the course, 163 yards. An elevated green that you're playing into here. You got trees on the left, so you really, have to be precise with your tee shot. And I got lucky again, using the jigger. Went left.
Okay, you've got a clear shot.
I use the mashie niblick again.
And a fair amount of green to work with, so that's not too bad.
It left me with this with the mashie niblick. Had a lot of green to work with, but it was a tough chip for me. I'm not comfortable with those chips with the mashie niblick. I'd rather use my mashie, and have actually gotten better at that particular shot with the mashie. So here's a great putt, lag putt. I wish I had the whole putt on video, but Brad got that one real close from a fair distance away. And I'm trying real hard not to let this one creep all the way back to the front of the front of the green, so a little too tentative.
Exactly.
And again, didn't quite give it enough.
Yeah. Again, and I honestly think it's a legitimized fear. I don't think you're not.
Yeah, Yeah, I just didn't want to end up down there.
So number 18 heads us home. Par 4, 361 yards. Some interesting mounding here on the front of the hole to aim through. You want to aim through that valley. Brad had a decent tee shot here, got over the mound.
We didn't have too much spin on that.
This is the highest point of the hole, so once you get past those mounds, it starts to go downhill and then it comes back up toward an elevated green.
That'll play very nicely.
Okay.
Really great.
Yeah, I'd say
It's a good one to finish on.
Just off the fairway here. Perfect distance for my jigger, if I could just hit it consistently. And that, you know, that ends up being more times than not what happens. You know, when I really want to depend on it, it doesn't work for me. And that's a sign that I probably need to find a different jigger. So now I'm trying to get a little too creative here. I'm using the mashie to try to swipe this and slice it around the tree line, but I ended up just barely hitting it. And this is where the hole really fell apart for me. Fortunately, I got some pretty camera shots leading up to the clubhouse, but I just totally hacked my way to the end of this hole. There's several ways to approach this hole depending on where you're at, and I pretty much used all of them. And that was a decent chip with the mashie.
Thanks.
I won't blame the sirens for that missed putt. That's a rough way to close it
I was reading
out.
the same thing you were. Go ahead and move mine. I really don't care. It's good.
I'm a little superstitious about holing out at the end of a round. I have to do it. So no matter how many putts it takes, I got to get it in the hole before I leave. So after way more putts than I should have taken, I finally
that's a
wrap up
perfect
this
line.
round here at Spring Valley. Really want to thank Brad for hosting me. Looking forward to playing with him again. I'll be back next week with another course vlog. In the meantime, check out my playlist of course vlogs in the upper right, and then check out my Hickory Golf Club repair videos in the lower right. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.